Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Welcome back, viewers, and this is the next segment of videos we are making for Virtualization Zen. And in this video I'm going to cover storage, OpenFiler storage. I'm not going to go into too much detail. I'm just going to show you uh, how a disk is added, how a volume group is made, how a logical volume is made, how an iSCSI target is made, and how clients are allowed access to that target. And because it's a quite big product, not size wise, but it has a lot of features. I'll not be covering all those features. I'll just be focused on what is needed for our live migration examples or demonstrations. So while I was away, I have rebooted Zen host 1 as well, and if you check its virtual manager, it is now showing 512 MB usage in domain 0. So now both of my physical hosts are configured to use only 512 MB RAM for domain 0 operations. This is the same VM1 which we already created. We ignore this at the moment and we open the storage interface. This is how you reach your storage, HTTPS, and then you type in the URL or the IP of your storage, iSCSI storage or OpenFiler storage to be precise. :446 is its web interface. You start off with the word username OpenFiler, password, and then if it's a production environment, the first thing you should do is you should change its password. However, I'm not going to do that because I don't need to change password now. This is the system information, this is its IP, this is the host name, and it shows you a lot of pieces of information right on the front page. That what's the CPU speed, CPU, what's the kernel version running in this OpenFiler, and load averages, Ethernet usage, etc. and memory usage, file system usage here. Alright, so right now what we have here in this OpenFiler, we have got only one volume, not even one volume, we've got only one physical volume, physical disk you should say, and I can show it to you by actually logging into this machine and showing you the output of fdisk -L. So it has only one 20 GB partition being used as root. How do I know it's root? I know from here. SDA1 is root, and this second is my swap partition, and there is nothing else in this machine, and it's got 160 GB of hard drive. So I can create more partitions here or more physical volumes. Let me show you. If I do this /dev/SDA print, I create new partition, primary partition number 3, enter for default first cylinder, and I specify 40,000 megabyte as its size. So I just created a 40 GB partition, and I'm going to use this in my OpenFiler as a physical volume. So I write this. I can even change its type to Linux PVM. Let me show you how you can do that. Print change type of partition number 3, list code, and there is Linux PVM is not there, it's only LVM. Okay, sorry, never mind. Control C to exit, part probe. Alright, now this partition would show up here. You check block devices, click this block devices menu item, it shows you that SDA is your physical block device, your disk, which is of 140 GB of size. You click this and you will see all these 3 partitions. You can create more partitions here. Okay, we just created manually just to show you that it can be done manually as well, and it can be done from here as well. So if I create a new partition type, physical volume, start and end is the default start and end cylinder of the leftover space here. That's what's showing up here, and you can just press create. And now you've got 4 partitions here. This one we created ourselves manually through fdisk. This is what's created through OpenFiler interface. Okay, cannot create any more partitions. Fine, because all the disk space is now used. Fine. So your step 1, let's open a text editor. You would first, let's type storage or iSCSI storage. Step 1 is going to be create or provide physical disk / partition. Step 2 is going to be create a volume group comprising those are on top of physical disk. And how would you do that? You go to volume groups and you see that there is no volume group defined till now. You can create a volume group like volume group storage, and you use SDA4, which we just created through the OpenFiler interface. I wonder why it's not showing the partition which I created manually. I can just click this block devices again and see what's wrong with it. Okay, SDA showing 4 partitions, unknown, unused, close window. Maybe because its type we did not set, and that's why it's not showing up here as in the volume groups tab. This is the only partition I see. So let's try giving it the type. See, so let's try giving it the type LVM, which I thought that PVM type would be there. Type of partition 3, list code Linux LVM. Where is that? Here, 8E. So 8E, enter, print, write. Then we do a part probe. Alright, minimize this. Go on, minimize. Okay, so if I refresh this page, I should see both partitions here. See, SDA3 is also here, SDA4 is also here. This is what we created manually, which we had to change its type to Linux LVM, although we are creating it as PVM. That's funny. Alright, I'm going to create a new volume group storage, and I'm going to give it just this partition, 40 GB, and that's all. You should make sure that you don't introduce any special characters other than these. So I just made sure. Then you press this add volume group. Okay, so where did it go? Manage volumes. Okay, it's not showing here. Why? This should have worked. Let's log out, log in again, go to volumes. Okay, the volume I created is not here, so VG storage, click this box, add volume group. Oh, this should work, come on. Let's try VG storage and this partition. Okay, this partition has shown up here as, I wonder why that partition is not working. Anyway, we'll check that later. I'll investigate and I'll let you know, either in this video or in the other video. Okay, so volume group VG storage is created with its 90 GB of size, free is 90 GB, and view physical volumes. There's only one member, one partition in this volume. Close this window, and all PV physical volumes are used which are member of this volume group. Fine. So in our document we wrote that create volume group on top of this partition, then create logical volumes on top of this volume group. Okay, so you go to add volume. Right now there is no volume created, no logical volume created. So we can create logical volume. These logical volumes are going to be the disks which you are going to use for your virtual machines in Xen. So I would call it, let's call it Linux VM1, or you can even use your the machine name which is going to use this, like VM1 Disk, not dash. Dash is not allowed. VM1 Disk. Okay, and just to make things easier to understand, I'm going to delete this VM1 here from the virtual manager because we don't need this. It will confuse things. We are going to create a VM on the central storage. That's what this is all about. So VM1 disk, and I would write volume description as disk for VM1. Okay, and I would need a disk space of 2 GB. This is the minimum I need, and I would change its file system type to extended iSCSI. Okay, not extended 3, because it's going to be a full disk. It will further be partitioned when a virtual machine is created on top of it. So summarizing again, I'm just going to create a disk 2 GB of size. You can make it 3 GB if you wish so, and select the type iSCSI and press this create button. Okay, so this first volume or disk is created, 3 GB disk. Okay, I would create another volume for another machine. So I would press add volume, create volume named VM2 disk. So I would write here disk for VM2, and I would mention at 3 GB again, it's enough, and iSCSI, and I would use the button create. So you see 2 volumes are now created, 2 disks are created. Fine. This is enough for now. These are the two disks for two separate virtual machines. Now how do I export this? I have to make them part of iSCSI target. Where do I do that? Okay, here, iSCSI target. Target configuration. First I have to do this logical unit number mapping. Why my volumes are not showing here? Manage volumes, these two are showing here. Okay, volume groups, this is my main volume group, that's also correct. Block devices should be SDA4 part of. Okay, this is the full disk with 4 partitions. Go to iSCSI targets. This should show here my my volumes, logical volumes, which I just created. Okay, maybe I have to start the service, iSCSI service here. Yes, that might be the reason. Okay, yes, it's disabled. Select enable. So iSCSI target is now started, and that should solve the problem that why volumes are not showing up here in iSCSI targets. Yes, now it's showing here. Great. Go to logical unit number mapping. Okay, now first of all we are going to create the target. This is the target which will be seen by the machines, physical hosts, not the virtual machines. This is what is going to be seen by the virtual hosts, by physical hosts. So we have to name it like there's a specific format, so I will just use, this is domain name written in reverse, example.com, and I would use storage dot, and I would use the word target 1, because this will contain disks inside it. Press add. This target appears here, which you can change certain attributes here, which you don't need to. Then you go to logical unit number mapping, and then you see both of your logical volumes showing here, and it shows that no logical unit numbers are mapped to this target. So what you can do is disk for VM1 and disk for VM2. You can map them both. See, it's assigned this ID 0 in logical unit number, or this logical unit number is assigned to it. Then you also map the same this second disk, so-called disk, to the same target. So now this is your target, and these are the two logical volumes included in this target. These logical volumes are in fact going to be the disks for the virtual machines, which we will be creating soon. Okay, so we'll keep it simple like this till here. We have created a partition, physical volume. We created a volume group out of that. On top of that, we created certain logical volumes on it. We created certain target with this name, and we mapped the logical volumes into this target. The last thing which is left is network ACL. This target right now cannot be accessed by any machine on the network, so we will need to add access to it. You cannot configure network access control unless you create a list of networks in the local network. Okay, so let's create this. Go to local networks and add this first. This is already added here, I believe. Yeah, this is already added here, Ethernet 0. This is the network access configuration. I would specify 192.168.1.0 with network mask of 255.255.255.0. Oh no, sorry. The name is going to be home LAN. The network is going to be 192.168.1.0. The network mask is going to be 255.255.255.0. Type is going to be share. Press update. Come on. Okay. So this is what we have created just now. We go to volumes. We go to iSCSI targets. Where is that iSCSI targets? Here on the right side, iSCSI targets. Here you see your target. Here you see your logical unit number mapping. And here you see network ACL, which says that home LAN this would be denied. No, it should be allowed. Update. Done. Now this is our target. We can copy this and save it in a text file here and create logical volumes, then create target name and make the LVs part of target. 5. Create network definition home LAN into 168.1.0 / share. It should be named as share. Selected the type as share. Then allow access to the members of this network. Our IQN for one target is this one. Okay, let's create it as a text file as well. Storage OpenFiler.txt. Okay, great. Now we minimize this. We have configured our storage. We minimize this. We open our virtual machine manager, and here we can create the storage and create a VM inside it, which I will cover in my next video.